as well, and why there's an urgency of need to change beyond conversations. So starting off with, my comments today, hopefully that no one finds anything I say offensive or anything like that, but I'd like to just give you the facts as we're seeing these things unfold. So, why diversity in the workforce? Why is it urgent? The virus has advanced skill set requirements by a decade. So since March to now, the skill set requirements have advanced a decade, 10 years. I know it's hard to understand and believe, but as we'll go through, we'll be able to show you. Technology was going to do this anyway. So prior to the virus arriving, many people were predicting that in 2030, that technology would start to affect job roles and positions. However, we could see that maximum time before the virus occurred being no later than 2025. From what we were seeing on my travels, and we started to prepare for 2025, yet the virus came along and required the changes to happen immediately. There's a lot of people coming in now, so I'm just hitting on them. Coming to change. So when the global workforce requirements now, hence you can secure employment without having to leave your own country anymore. For job roles, as you are not only competing against local people anymore, but you're competing against global players for job roles that have been advertised in the markets in your own countries. A good example of this is BPO models, which a lot of people in the Philippines are all used to that model. A lot of the work has been done in the Philippines that used to be done, say, in Australia and other countries. Well, it's happening more and more. So now the best person gets the job. It doesn't matter where a person's sitting anymore. They can take the job role. Right, next one. Okay. Right. Many job roles are disappearing as the result of COVID-19 and the acceptance of technology by employers. COVID actually forced many companies and institutions to implement technology to enable them to operate and now accept that they can do more with less, along with associated cost saving. This enabled many to remain competitive and to keep their doors open. Education institutions, outdated systems, current industry experience, lecturers, teachers, trainers, and lack of current courses to meet the digital age is also another issue. Many education institutions were caught off guard, and many struggled to implement technology as the resistance from within, low skill set levels in their organisations, and lack of suitable infrastructure has had a detrimental effect on the fast rollout of technology. Some institutions will not survive and have to close their doors. Students themselves are unprepared and lacked required skills to undertake online virtual classroom deliveries. Some examples here are, in Indonesia, there's 6,000 universities. I witnessed a presentation the other day which has predicted that 5,000 of those universities will struggle to stay open after the COVID is finished. Australia is another good example. Australia had built their university education business models around foreign students, and the numbers are down 80% this year compared to last due to the onset of the virus. Next one, high numbers of unemployable students and broken education systems. This is the outcome of many years of educating students, not for the digital age and new job role requirements, lack of up-to-date subject matter experts delivering the course materials, lack of consultation with employers in regard to skilled workers they are seeking, saw many students graduating from institutions, yet totally unemployable. And this is a problem across many countries. Governments also slow to ensure that adequate wireless connectivity across these countries have also had a detrimental effect on the ability of the students to study online. Google has satellites beaming wireless technology now, and they're now also experimenting more in India with laser transmission to assist with wireless connectivity. Now, high numbers of unskilled workers globally, yet number of job roles are disappearing fast, and people wonder why this is happening. Many people are failing to understand why this is possible, and it's simply because of the following reasons. Many people are technology incompetent, and they think that being able to use social media and undertake emails make them technology competent. How wrong they are. Education systems have failed to keep pace with the technology advancements. Subject matter experts and many students lacking skills and access to technology infrastructure and wireless connectivity. Many students falling behind, that skilling is also their and failing to understand that skilling is also their responsibility and not the role totally of the education systems alone. Many people do not respect education, as either they outsource the assessment process to others or would, for social status, spend large amounts of money on the latest mobile device, which may last a year or two, but will not spend $100 on a course that will educate and feed them for life. Educators themselves are failing to keep up with the changes to be able to implement the skills and knowledge onto the students. Subject matter experts such as financial literacy, English, soft skills should commence being taught in years 1 to 7 of schooling and beyond. Let's look at financial literacy. COVID now removed cash from many countries' daily payment transactions because it's transfer of the virus. Your children are watching you point your card, your phone, or your watch at EFTPOS machines, etc., and buying goods. They grow up thinking they just need one of those things to buy what they want, not how it all happens behind the scenes. And this is a very dangerous thing. Some examples of the past experiences. I started working in a bank, believe it or not, over 50 years ago. And a professor of economics from a well-known Australian university used to get his checks dishonoured as he had no financial understanding of how the financials work, and that he's not supposed to take out more money than he put in the bank. Now, this was a professor, which highlights the fact there are many, many people still in education institutions that have done studies in the past, some a long time ago, that are teaching subject matters. They've got no idea about what it is today that they should be teaching. Nothing has changed in those 50 years as far as I'm concerned from what I see. Nothing at all has changed in regards to financial literacy within the schooling education systems. And bankers used to say, and this is no disrespect to the valuable, great work that teachers do and everything like that, but please understand, this is just letting you know the facts. Bankers used to say, never lend to teachers, as they've never left school. Now, if you think about what that means, it means that the teachers haven't continued to educate themselves, upskill themselves ongoing all the time about the subject matters they're supposed to be teaching. We have tried unsuccessfully in Australia for many years to bring in financial literacy skilling into primary schools. That's years 1 to 7. But we meet resistance because the teachers are too stressed or don't want to do it. If we look at the next one here, almost half the EU adult population requires upskilling or reskilling. Europe is facing many social issues now and is planning to give every working age person 10,000 euros to upskill themselves to gain or remain employed. Most countries will be faced with the need to provide a living wage to the working age people who are unable to obtain employment. Otherwise, social unrest will continue to grow globally. UK is looking to give all working age people who are unemployed £1,000 per month. It's called a living wage. The alternative is massive social unrest if they don't, because the job roles are just not there. European policies need to strengthen on the opportunities that will outpace placements. Sorry about that. Once again, it's a global problem. Also, if many people become educated, and unless they start their own business or become a gig worker does, etc., like the number of large employers, as the number of large employers is declining due to technology and high cost of employees. In most business models, one of the highest costs in a business is the wages to employees. Given that the COVID has forced companies to use technology, more and more companies now are looking at ways to reduce the number of employees to cut the costs. Community colleges in the US are also doing the same thing. They're upskilling lots and lots of people. But the danger of all this is, across the world, is there won't be the job roles for these people because the large employers now, very large employers, cannot afford to have very large number of employees because they're competing against Alibaba, Google, Microsoft, all those online technology companies. And to remain in place, it's very, very difficult. Time to reprogram as well the thinking of the human mind and the way things have been done in the past. What we're faced with a lot of people who from birth are told what to do by their mum and dad. They're protected. They go to school, they're told what to do at the school, when to go to lunch, when to come here, whatever. They go to university, they're told what to do, when to study, what to do there. By the time they get to the workforce, a lot of them cannot work unsupervised or undirected. So it's a huge issue that needs to be addressed as well. Right, on to this one. Okay, Asia. Let's have a look at it. Low number of population is technology competent. And remember I said before about technology competency, it's about doing more than Facebook and social media. Many employers across every industry that you can think of today need technology competent people working in their business. It does not mean they have to be a coder or security or anything like that. It means they have to be able to use Word, Excel, Microsoft, Adobe, PowerPoint, etc. So it's vital. I'll give you an example of one country. My staff in Indonesia told me only 10% of India's population is computer literate. That's a massive number of people that need upskilling. We have, the world has a global shortage over the next 5 years of 149 million IT trained professionals. Now, they're not around. So, and what happens, the danger of this happening, if people don't start to lift their game and start to educate themselves quickly, employers go, we can't find anyone to do these jobs, or we can't find anyone with the technology skills, so we'll use bots. We'll use other ways of solving that problem. So jobs are disappearing at a very fast rate. They have been anyway before the virus was coming, as I've said before. Many countries are still delivering old education materials. You cannot, we are in level 4 now of growth. We are needing up-to-date materials. Handing out school books to people year after year after year with little change in them is not helping people to mix into the digital age we now work in. Resistance from people in responsible roles, it's not everywhere, but I'm seeing it. I've been told by lecturers in one country that they refuse to use the technology because they know that's going to take their job off them. So they're not, and told me to get out. They don't want to know about technology, right? So that's silly thinking, because what will happen, they'll lose those jobs anyway. Employers need skilled workers. What we're finding now is skilled workers are needed. University graduates are not now high on the list to employ, because a lot of people coming out of universities around the globe that lack skills. They don't have the right skills to be able to do the job required. Hence, paper without purpose, I call it, is not the way to go moving forward. All right, let's have a look at some positive things. I mean, it's all positive, but this is just letting you know what's happening, and so that each and every one of us can take actions to hopefully put ourselves on the right path to be able to put food on the table. Online delivery is making access to education easier. One thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about the use of technology, as you'll see down below, is have a look what it's doing in some countries, the countries that have adapted to it. Online delivery, making access to education easier. So people do not have to go in traffic jams anymore to go and sit in a classroom and then go back the other way for another few hours to get anything done. They can do it in their own time at home when they need to do it. More and more universities, even in Australia, are moving online. The beauty about having online education is you're able to update your materials as and when something changes within the industry. Micro-credentials. Now, that word is a word that you'll all understand and learn to hear more about. We are rolling these out shortly. What it does, you get a skill to do certain jobs. So it might be a barista to make the coffee. You'll go through a course and you'll get like a badge, and that will be a micro credential. So when you go to an employer, you send your certificate to them, they will hit the badge on there and it'll take them through and they'll see exactly what you've done to get that certificate. Employers all over the world are looking for not university students anymore. They're looking for skilled workers in set areas that they want to employ. An example in Ireland, a few years back, a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of tradespeople, builders, bricklayers, a whole range of different people lost their jobs. So what they did with them, They trained them in IT courses, which we've got. They trained them in the IT courses, and now those people are fully employed, making more money than they did before. Because what's happening around the world now is data centers are growing fast because more and more people are using technology, so they need larger data centers. A very good story in Africa. Been into some low socio-economic areas, and they're upskilling people on these courses to do the IT courses. And this has enabled them, the village people, A, to run businesses from home, not have to go into the big cities looking for work anymore. And it's lifting their standing in life up to the middle class. And if you think about a place like the Philippines, this is perfect solution for Philippines as well, because there's over 6 million workers go overseas all around the world for work. If we upskilled the people strongly, a lot of them could stay home and still make the money, because unfortunately, when people go traveling around the world, there is also that family breakdown structures as well. So the opportunities there for the Philippines to do the same thing. If we look down to the last on that list is China mandatory entrepreneurship courses. A lot of people talk this word entrepreneurship. Some people know what it is, some people don't. Let me just tell you what China did. I've been to China, I've been to Alibaba, I did a course with Alibaba. They showed me a book that was written about 15 years ago. It was an entrepreneurial course. And the Chinese government said, we need an entrepreneurial course and everyone's going to do this course, right? That's what every country needs to do. They need to get the people out of their current mindset and thinking and push them over the line to go, right, your survival depends, you're either a job seeker or you're an entrepreneur. That's the two channels of humans we're going to come into the world now, job seekers or entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs build businesses and they employ people. That can happen if entrepreneurship courses, along with soft skill courses, IT courses and financial literacy courses, that's how simple all this problem can be solved, and then they're not expensive. Okay, so it makes it easier. Okay, I've got to run along. Business schools, college, universities. A business today must totally focus on survival and technology advancements. Business planning. Some are still talking by 2025 or 2030 or 2050 or whatever, we'll be doing this. Those figures are too far out now. And what that's doing, when someone comes to you with a 2025 or 2030 plan, you question them because you are giving them too much wriggle room. There's no accountability. Whether it happens or not, don't worry them, they'll be gone. Business planning should be no longer than 6 months at a time, a rolling business plan with a maximum of 12 months at a time. Every day you get out of bed, there's some more technology. Things have changed. Every day, something changing. Many people around the world can't keep up with this, including my staff. Every day we have to learn new things. Teams and their job descriptions are now about economic survival for the company and themselves. What are they doing to upskill themselves? It's about teamwork, and it's about career protection. And career protection will not happen anymore if your employees do not keep themselves upskilled to meet the employer's needs. The old days are finished. Workforce planning, smaller, permanent, knowledgeable numbers. So the big companies are winding them back. They're only going to keep the smaller numbers, and the rest jobs that others used to do, they will outsource those to gig workers. Gig workers are short, go and do job here, job there, whatever. They also, what the skills they're looking for today, employers, they're not looking for a university degree. They're looking for people who can speak English. They're looking for people with technology skills, all the required soft skills, If you're going to be just a job seeker, that's what you need to do. But also entrepreneurial outlook that would help you, because an employer is not going to want you to come and sit at a desk and have to tell you every day what you're going to do. They want you to tell them what you think you should be doing as well to help their business. Okay. Making yourself necessary requires you to continue to improve, as we've said. Necessary people do not wait for an employer or a company to help them get better. They make themselves better. They study, they learn. Future-proof you, your career, your future, as no one else will do it for you. Are you a job seeker or an entrepreneur? If you educate an individual, you educate an individual. If you inform a parent, you educate a family. So educate, so that word, sorry, should be educate. If you educate a parent, you educate a family, all right? Because that means if the parent is educated, that person can help their child moving along. Another thing to be careful of, in Australia, we call some people snowplow parents. Snowplow parents. What does that mean? It means when their child's got troubles, the parents come along and solve all the problems for them. That child grows up and they don't know how to live. They've got no concept on how to look after themselves or do anything. It is not a wise thing to do. A parent's role is to guide, but not solve all the problems. Get the child to sort it. Now, we talk about China with entrepreneurial courses as well. Okay. That's my presentation today. I hope you enjoyed it. Yes, it's probably a bit frightening for some people to hear those things, but that's reality of where it is and what we all need to do to make sure. But with every problem, there's solutions, and AAMC training, we're in 4 countries. We are well equipped to handle any school, college, university, or a student on the right path to succeed going forward. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Dr. Fellow Jeff Mazzini, for that timely and relevant presentation. Unfortunately, Dr. Fellow Mazzini cannot join us in our real-time open forum because of unforeseen events. And we would like to encourage everyone to send us your feedback or questions in the open forum tab. We'll ensure that all comments and queries will be sent to Dr. Fellow Mazzini, and he will send us his recorded video to answer your questions. Thank you so much again, Dr. Mazzini. To award the Certificate of Recognition, let me read. The Certificate of Recognition is awarded to Dr. Fellow Jeffrey Mazzini in recognition of his invaluable contribution as plenary speaker during the 16th CIMT AAG Joint Multidisciplinary Research Conference, jointly organized by Singapore Institute of Multidisciplinary Professions and Ascendance Asia Group, both international organizations proactively working for the advance of ASEAN community, held on 10th to 12 December 2020 in virtual conference. The certificate is given this 12th day of December 2020, signed by Dr. Fellow Artina Georgine Ang Kabakang, Director of Singapore Institute of Multidisciplinary Professions, Dr. Rock Brian Matias, Director of Publication of Ascendance Asia Publishing, and Dr. Elmer G. De Jose, the Dean of PUP Graduate School. Thank you so much. Now, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our Ascendance Group Chief Operating Officer and President, Dr. Glenn Kabakang, and the PUP Graduate School Secretary and Accreditation Coordinator, Dr. Marion Crescencio. Good morning and welcome, doctors. Now, without further ado, to start the prime of this event, let's call the presentation selected research papers in the discipline of education. Here are our presenters. Filipinas Corazon Abadilla, Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Cecilia Alagon, Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Frevelin Sagun, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, and Kenneth Villanueva, Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Let's start with the learning styles, occupational interest, and academic performance of grade 10 laboratory high school student, Basis for Career Guidance Program by Filipinas Corazon Abadilla, Polytechnic University of the Philippines.
Good day, everyone. I am Filipinas Corazon B. Abadilla, Guidance Advocate of Office of Counseling and Psychological Services, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, and a part-time instructor of the College of Social Sciences and Development, Department of Psychology, Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Learning styles, occupational interest, and academic performance of grade 10 laboratory high school students, basis for an enhanced career guidance program. One of the most challenging concerns when it comes to learning is for the individual taking control of how he or she wanted to learn. The ways and techniques how the student absorb, process, and comprehend and retain the information is the most common problem educators as well as parents encounter. Students have an individualistic approach in learning, and that educators need to recognize that each student have their own way of learning than the others. That perceptual learning style affects academic achievement. This is the study of Riney in 2016. In the study of Rama in 2016 as well, states that when it comes to learning, high achievers and low achievers have different learning style. The study aims to explore the learning styles of the respondents and its impact on the academic performance, as well as the relevance on their decision-making when it comes to their career choice. In response, an enhanced career guidance program will be generated. To determine the correlates of the learning style, occupational interest, and academic performance, 3 sections of grade 10 laboratories high school students were chosen as respondents. Perceptual learning style questionnaire was given to measure the learning preference of the students. National Career Assessment Examination, or NCAI, results were utilized for occupational interest. Grades in mathematics, science, and English was used as the basis for academic performance. Results were compared to determine correlates between the variables. An enhanced career guidance program was formulated based on the results gathered from the participants. The program was assessed by the expert guidance counselors. Learning style of the respondent in terms of visual, tactile, auditory, group, kinesthetic, and individual. The respondents manifest high preference on auditory learning style, thus indicating they learn more using their sense of hearing. The respondents also prefer individual learning style, thus explaining the importance of solitary study to better retain knowledge. Group learning style was least preferred by the respondents, indicating less interaction with other students. Occupational interest of respondents as measured by the National Career Assessment Examination or NCAI. The respondents manifest high preference for natural science and arts-related vocation. Moderate preference on professional services such as jobs relating but not limited to accounting and judiciary. Less preference were jobs associated with personal services and spiritual vocation. Relationship between learning style and academic performance. Individual learning style preference is significantly related to the academic performance of the students, thus indicating individualized learning of the students affects their academic excellence or performance. Relationship between learning style and occupational interest. Based on the findings, learning style and occupational interest is not significantly related to one another. Students will still prefer the career interest they want regardless on how they perform within the class. Taking the gathered result, we can conclude that students prefer learning with their sense of hearing and appreciates solitary learning in attaining academic excellence. However, respondents' learning style does not affect their preference when it comes to choosing a future career. Considering the results, the researchers seek to come up with an enhanced career guidance program to further support the students holistically. Among the different factors considered, collaborative activities with teachers in response to future guidance awareness to eradicate the stigma of going to the guidance office to seek help. Collaborative programs with the academic and non-academic personnel when it comes to career guidance. Provide an assessment tool for career interest as well as personality assessment for students to further be aware of their preferences and interests. Intensify the career counseling program of the guidance office. Respondents prefer learning through their sense of hearing. They learn more when they hear lectures or talks, and studying alone gives them better retention in information, and they are able to remember the lessons well. Even though learning style and occupational interest does not significantly correlate to one another, this does not mean that it should not be given importance, but rather it does require planning for students to be more aware of their interests and align it with their skills to help them achieve excellence in their chosen career. Thank you, everyone, and good day.
Thank you, Ms. Badilla. Now, can you please turn on your camera? Since the floor is now open for questions from the participants. Ms. Badilla. Okay, thank you. Good morning po. Okay. For those people who had questions, please raise your hand so that we could recognize you or acknowledge.
Good morning, Miss Abadilla.
Okay, a question from Dr. Aki Matias.
So, I'd like to ask lang no, just a clarification about the methodology you have used in your study. So I'd like to ask kung ano lang yung what sampling technique you use for your studies. How do you select the 10 participants for the study? Hello ma'am, naka-mute po.
Hello po. Good morning, sir. So actually, it's purposive sampling. It's all grade 10 students from a specific laboratory high school. So it's a total of almost 143 respondents.
143 respondents.
Yes po.
All right po. Sige po. Thank you so much, Miss Abadilla.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Aki. Any more questions from the room? Then if that's the case, thank you so much, Miss Filipina Abildilla. Okay, thank you so much for your presentation. Let's now move on, and thank you again for Dr. Aki Matias. Let's move on to our presentation from Cecilia Alagon, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, entitled Organizational and Servant Leadership of school managers and teachers' morale in the secondary schools of East Cluster in Cavite, Basis for Leadership Enhancement Program. Okay, since Miss Alagon is not yet around, okay, so we will move on to our next presentation. So let's now listen to the presentation of Febeline Sagun, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, entitled Grade 5 Pupils Reading Comprehension on Read Aloud at Caloocan North Elementary School. Miss Fredeline?
Good day to everybody. I am Frebeline G. Sagun. Today I am going to present my study with the title Grade 5 Pupils Reading Comprehension on Read Aloud at Caloocan North Elementary School. Reading comprehension is the ability to understand the written or printed text. Good reading comprehension comes only with practice. One of the public schools in the Division of Caloocan in North 1 District, particularly Caloocan North Elementary School, encounter problems on reading comprehension. This study is conducted to make a solution to the problem in reading comprehension ability of the pupils, particularly the grade 5 pupils at Caloocan North Elementary School. Based on the result of Phil-IRE in the school year 2018 to 2019, about 85% of the whole population of grade 5 level got a frustrated result reading comprehension. This study aims to determine whether read aloud can help grade 5 pupils comprehend in reading selections. The study uses pure experimental method. Two groups were chosen. Group A, the experimental group, and Group B, the control group. Both groups will take the pre-test and post-test, and these two results will be compared if there is a significant difference. This research design is simply defined by PUA 2012 as method that manipulates at least one independent variable, controls other relevant variables, extraneous variables that may affect the outcome, dependent variables, of the study observes the effect on one or more dependent variables. The research design and procedure are to compare the pretest and posttest of two groups of grade 5 pupils in Caloocan North Elementary School on the reading comprehension abilities. The mean score of Group A in the selection Bethlehem was 6.39 with a performance level of without comprehension, while the mean score of Group B was 6.20 with the same level of comprehension. The mean score of Group A in the selection Birds of Paradise was 8.47 with a level of with comprehension, while Group B was 8.52 with the same level of comprehension of Group A. The mean score of Group A in the selection Mariang Makiling was 4.46 with the level of without comprehension, while the mean score of Group B was 4.34 with the same level of comprehension. This proves that in the beginning, respondents have the same level of comprehension. In the post-test, the mean score of Group A in the selection Bethlehem was 7.39 with a level of with comprehension, while Group B was 6.27 with a level of without comprehension. Compared to pre-test mean score, the post-test score of Group A in this selection increased 1 point, while the Group B increased only 0.07. The mean score of Group A in the selection Birds of Paradise was 8.74 with a level of with comprehension, while Group B was 7.75 with the same level of comprehension of Group A. Compared to pre-test mean score of Group A in this selection, it increases 0.27, while Group B decreased to 0.77. The mean score of Group A in the selection Mariang Makiling was 6.10 with the level of without comprehension, while Group B retained in 4.13 with the same level of comprehension. Compared to pre-test score of Group A in this selection, it increased 1.64 points, while Group B decreased to 0.21. The result in the post-test of Group A shows an improvement of the respondents in their reading comprehension. The table shows the summary of the significant differences of Group A and Group B in the pre-test and post-test of the three selections. The pre-test mean score of Group A respondents in the three selections is 19.32 with the standard deviation of 2.67, while the post-test mean score is 22.24 with the standard deviation of 5.38. The t-value of the Group A is negative 5.995 and the p-value is 0.000. The decision is to reject the hypothesis with the remarks of there is a significant difference in their comprehension skills, since the read aloud strategy was used as an intervention took an effect to improve the reading comprehension of the pupils. Compared to the pretest of Group B, respondents in the three selections, the mean score is 19.06 with a standard deviation of 2.88, while the post-test mean score is 18.15 with a standard deviation of 4.85. The t-value of it is 2.089 and the p-value is 0.039. The decision is to reject the hypothesis with the remarks of there is a significant difference in their comprehension skills. The result is based on the post-test. The selection Bethlehem Group A leveled up from the level of without comprehension to with comprehension, while Group B retained in the level of without comprehension. The selection Birds of Paradise, both groups still in the same level of with comprehension, but Group A mean score increased while Group B decreased. The selection Mariang Makiling, both groups have the same level of without comprehension, but the result shows that in Group A, there is an increase in the mean score while in Group B, decrease from the pretest score. The comparison shows that Group A happened to significantly increase the comprehension performance of the respondents, while Group B shows significant difference because it decreased. This finding shows that there is a significant difference between the pretest and posttest of the two groups in the three selections. In conclusion, the use of read aloud strategy during reading can help the student understand and make retentions in reading a story selection. A regular practice in reading and unlocking some difficult words are essential for the pupils to easily comprehend what they are reading. A support from their teacher and parents will also make a big impact for the enhancement of their skills. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Miss Sagun. So, Miss Sagun, can you? We would like to see you. Can you please turn on your camera? Okay, hi,
Thank you.
ma'am. Ma'am Preveline, how are you?
Fine, sir. Good.
Hi, good morning po. Okay, so the floor is now open for questions from our participants. Can you now please raise your question? Okay, again, you may now raise your hand for so that we can recognize you if you have some question. Well, Ma'am Sagan, I have a question for you actually. This is very interesting topic. Okay, well, based from the studies, reports, and surveys, right, the Philippines rank as the lowest in reading comprehension and second lowest in science and mathematics among 79 countries. This is based from CNN report. So what do you think could be the best strategies or teaching methods for our educators today?
Um, uh, like my study, reading aloud can help the pupils read with with comprehension. But as an elementary teacher, um, as of now, phonetic is the way of uh, teaching reading in the elementary. But I would like to make another experiment of this. Actually, I am not a teacher who teaches us purely sound. I also recognize the Dulce basic sight words, which is actually I have read one of their in their article that somehow memorization can help also the student to read the word fluently, and also comprehension comes along the way by showing them the pictures, especially in the primary level. So pictures with accompanied by the words can help them comprehend it, and then using it in a sentence, and asking some question about a specific sentence for them to measure the comprehension.
Oh, that's good. That's a very convincing answer, Ma'am Prebini. Would you think the mother tongue could also influence the students, especially our students from primary education? Because right now, if I'm not mistaken, in the lower grade, they're given their mother tongue as their subject. Do you think it would also help?
um I think it's not 100% help, but using mother tongue could also help them unlock the meaning of the foreign word or the second language, which is the English. Actually, students are having difficulty in terms of understanding the English instruction language. That's why we can use the mother tongue to translate it for them to recognize that this word is equivalent to this word that I understand.
Oh, thank you so much, Miss Reveline.
Thank you po.
Thank you po. Anyone who would like to raise any concern or question with regard to their study? This is very timely and relevant nowadays. Okay. Dr. Matias, do you have any question?
Hi, good morning, Miss Freveline.
Good
I
morning
just
po.
like to ask, no, have you presented this study in your institution already?
Sir, actually not yet.
Oo. Because it is very helpful for the institution, particularly for our teachers, to know this type of research in order for them to at least provide intervention to our students, particularly in comprehension, because it is actually very timely um, discussion or a very timely topic since as mentioned by Dr. Jello Alejandro, one of or the lowest ranking country in terms of comprehension is Philippines. So I encourage you to present this one to your institution in order for them to formulate intervention plan or
Yes, sir.
for them to formulate other teaching techniques.
Yes, sir.
So thank you very much for
Thank you,
presenting
sir.
your paper po.
Thank you po.
Thank you, Miss Preveline, and thank you so much, Dr. Matias, for the interactive participation. I appreciate your presence here. Now, our team is working for an open forum, so kindly visit our website at online.elearningcommons.com. So, for all of our participants, if you have any question or concern, just ping us or send us your comments in our comment section through our forum section at online.elearnings.com. Okay, so now moving on. So let's start and call on our next presenter. So let's call Mr. Kenneth Villanueva. Are you here? So Mr. Kenneth Villanueva is from Polytechnic University of the Philippines. He's presenting his paper entitled Magkakaugnay na salik sa pagkatuto ng pagsulat ng komposisyon ng mga mag-aaral sa grade 9. Mr. Kenneth, are you with us? Can you please turn on
Yes
your
po.
camera? Okay. Good luck, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, good morning, everyone. So I am Kenneth C. Villanueva from province of Quezon. Okay? So my study is magkakaugnay na salik sa pagkatuto ng pagsulat ng komposisyon ng mga mag-aaral sa grade 9. So this research intends to identify the interrelated factors in learning writing composition of grade 9 students. This study focused on the interrelated factors in learning writing compositions in Filipino subject of grade 9 students of Lusaka National High School in Chaong, Quezon, Philippines. This research is conducted to help students improve their writing in constructing compositions. So, for methods, it used a descriptive method of research to analyze given data. The researcher constructed a questionnaire to gather students' perception on the interrelated factors in writing composition. So the rubrics were used to measure students' ability to write compositions. There is a sum of 140 students who underwent this study who were selected through purposive sampling. Data were analyzed using statistical treatment using frequency and percentage for fact.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Kenneth. We lose you. Ayan. Okay. Mr. Kenneth.
Yes.
Ayan, that's fine. Yeah, I know we're having a hard time
Yes.
right now because of internet fluctuation. Okay,
Okay po.
just share your, we will share again your slide and you may now continue your presentation.
All right, so my study is magkakaugnay na salik sa pagkatuto ng pagsulat ng komposisyon sa grade 9 to identify the interrelated factors in learning writing composition of grade 9 students. This study focused on the interrelated factors in learning writing compositions in Filipino subject of grade 9 students of Lusaka National High School. This research is conducted to help students improve their writing in constructing compositions. It used a descriptive method to analyze given data. The researcher constructed a questionnaire to gather students' perception on the interrelated factors in writing composition. The rubrics were used to measure students' ability to write compositions. There is a sum of 140 students who underwent this study who were selected through purposive statistical treatment using frequency and percentage for factors that were related to respondents, while mean and distribution for interrelated factors and Pearson are at zero point 0.5 level of significance for writing composition of students. Results, there is a significant relationship between teachers' factor and writing composition. 2, relationship between students' factor like motivation, personal interest, and attitude, and writing composition. And number 3, there is a relevant relationship between social environmental factors and writing composition. Mental factors are the two significant factors. Students are being research results suggests that students should improve their skills in writing through self-motivation and widen their interest to write better.
Wala.
That's all.
Lobat.
Thank you very much.
Ay, lobat. Hindi nakapan.
All right, that's nice. Thank you so much, Mr. Kenneth Villanueva. Okay, so hi, sir. Hi, Sir Kenneth.
Yes po.
Yeah, how are you there? Kamusta po dyan sa Quezon? He's really having a hard time po talaga with his internet connection. Hi, Sir Kenneth.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Hello
How are
po.
you po dyan?
Okay naman po.
Okay.
Nasa school po ako ngayon.
Nasa school ka. Would you mind asking po, so are you conducting online classes right
Yes.
now?
Mahal, ano mo ka?
Related po sa hand washing, winds, and SDR. Yun po mga ina-attend kong seminars po. As of now po.
As of right now, you're attending seminars po.
Okay.
Apo, okay. So I have one question lang po with regards to your
Yes
your
po, sir.
Yeah. So actually, it's also related in the same question with Miss Sagun. Since we have the reports of the Philippines is the lowest rank among the other 79 countries in reading comprehension, and well, particularly sa science and mathematics, we're the second lowest. So what do you think would be the best what could be your best recommendation for our educators in terms of their teaching strategies? Lalo
Well,
na, I think relative din po ang composition writing, right?
yes.
So
Yun po talaga ang kumbaga ang pinakauna po talaga, siyempre dapat po ay matuto sa pagbabasa. Okay, right. So, for me, as of my study, kailangan po talaga na i-guide natin ang mga students. Even though hindi po talaga mataas yung factors, teachers factors sa pagkatuto ng mga estudyante. But then, at the end of the day, the teacher is the most important instrument in relaying learning or in relaying education for our students. But then, kung titingnan po natin, yung mga estudyante po ay sila po yung kumbaga nasa kanila po yung factor kung paano nila matututunan yung kanilang yung lesson, nasa kanila po yung sarili yon. And then kumbaga sa panahon ngayon, lalo ngayon with meron po tayong virtual lessons, classes. So talagang sa kanila sariling paraan kung paano po sila matututo. Okay po.
Okay. Well, I'm also curious of what is your current setup there in Quezon. So, kamusta po dyan? How do you do the reading the reading comprehension and the writing of composition sa mga students? I know that most on the public school they're doing modular, right? Or
Yes,
they're using instruction materials. Paano po kayo? Are you also doing online?
We have some online, but then meron pong program na nagbabasa po ang estudyante, tatawagan lang po namin sila, and then they need to read some paragraphs to assess their level.
Okay.
And then in writing naman, ang ginagamit po namin ay mga bata, and then may writing activity doon, and then ibabalik lang nila din sa amin yun to check their work.
Hello, Sir Kenneth? Hello, Sir Kenneth?
Hello po.
Ayan. Yeah, you're telling us that what you're doing po, tinatawagan niyo po sila, right? Is this through phone?
Yes, oo.
So technically speaking po, dapat
phone or opo.
Dapat naka-phone. Okay
Yes,
po. So depende po sa resources ng estudyante.
Opo. Pwede rin po naman kung may internet po sila sa bahay, pwede pong video calls or yun nga po, pwede pong internet or SIM cards.
Well, for the writing composition po kasi, most here in the collegiate sector, particularly sa amin sa college, what we're doing po for to measure their writing skills, one factor is also meron na po kasi tayong mga tools, particularly grammar tools and plagiarism checker, right? For us to check kung talagang sinulat ba ng mga students namin yung kanilang mga computer answers. Now, for the secondary and primary, paano po yung setup ninyo?
Dito po sa secondary, wala po kami kasi yung mga software katulad po nung mga plagiarism. Yung software po ba yun, di ba po?
Yes.
So hindi po namin magagamit yun. Sa ngayon po ay talaga pong iniisa-isa po namin tinatrabaho at tinatawagan po namin kung may mga difficulties po sila sa pagsulat. Message po namin through video at through chats, messenger, yun po ang aming ginagawa. So at saka po, chinecheck po talaga namin isa-isa. Binabasa po namin talaga. Yun po talaga ang ginagawa namin.
Thank you so much, Sir Kenneth. Now we have here ang Dr. Aki Matias for another question. Medyo interesting po talaga kasi mga topics ninyo. Especially from us, the college.
Yes. Good morning, Sir Kenneth Villanueva. I just wanted to know the major problems encountered by your students in terms of pagsulat or yung composition writing. What are their challenges?
All right.
That you have encountered?
Ang pagsulat po talaga. All right, sir. So, ang pagsulat po talagang mahirap po 'yan. Sinasabi ko po sa mga students na they need time to realize na kailangan ito ay hindi pinipilit, even though ito'y kailangan requirement sa paaralan. Okay? Hindi po pinipilit, but then nakikita po nilang mga problema ay yung time po nila to give some points kung paano magsusulat, yung mga basics lang po yung ibang na-encounter nila. Halimbawa po ay sa mechanics like punctuations, yan. Yung pong mga periods, paggamit po ng mga big letters, small letters, doon po sila nahihirapan sa part na ayon.
So,
but then yung pong halimbawa, yes po.
So basically the technical writing difficulties in terms of using proper punctuations and capitalization.
And of course, grammar po. Kahit po sa Tagalog po, minsan nagsasala po silang lang gamit ng salita kahit sa Tagalog po. At kahit given na po yung language, ay nahihirapan pa rin po ang mga estudyante. But then naroon po yung eagerness nila. I-guide lang po natin. As teachers, meron po dapat tayong motivation na maganda for them to, para maayos po yung kanilang interest. Yun lang po naman.
So basically, the motivation of the students in terms of writing.
Apo.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Kenneth Villanueva, for answering the question.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matias. Well, aside from grammar, Sir Kenneth, I think napapansin ko din po sa mga estudyante, and most of the students or pupils in the primary or elementary school, they're having also a hard time, particularly on the spelling.
Yes.
Kahit
Yes.
Filipino na, right? Or
Kaya
I'm
nga
not
po,
sure kung pati sa sa mother tongue, and are having a hard time to to spell
yes.
out all words, 'di ba?
Mm.
So, Sir Kenneth,
Yes.
before we part or matapos yung
Mm.
yung turn, would you mind asking again what could be the other what could be your advice or recommendation for our teachers to influence din
Yes.
po them sa kanilang teaching methodology, especially po kayo kung meron po kayong best practices?
Yes. So, my advice is, alam nyo, ang mga estudyante gusto talaga nilang magsulat. Gusto nilang magsulat. Kailangan lang na may magko-convince sa kanila to pursue writing. Gusto nilang magsulat, gusto nilang mag-create ng gusto nilang mag-tell ng stories sa in a way na pagsusulat. Bukod sa pagsasalita. Ito yung finding sa aking study na kailangan lang nilang mas palawakin pa yung kanilang kakayanan sa pagsusulat. At ang nakikita kong strategy ay kailangan eager din tayo. As teachers, kailangan tayo ay eager din sa pagsusulat. Ipakita natin sa mga bata na tayo ay masaya sa pagsusulat. Wag natin ipakita sa kanila na tayo itinatamad din sa pagsusulat. Yun lamang po.
Wow, thank you po, Sir
Salamat po.
Kenneth. Thank you so much for your
Thank you rin
words
po.
of wisdom. Thank you so much po. Let's
Thank you.
now move on. Can we call on again Miss Cecilia Alagon from Polytechnic University of the Philippines? Ma'am Cecilia Alagon, are you there? Nandito po ba sila? Okay. So, if Ma'am Cecilia Alagon, last call po. Again, guys, I would like, dear participants, we would like again to encourage everyone to stay tuned, especially po, check on our forum section at www.online.elearningcommons.com. Pa-check na lang po lahat ng inyong mga suggestion or recommendation or questions po, particularly dun po sa mga topics natin for today, sa mga educators natin, if you have any questions or concern, or siguro if you have also some, you would like to consult anything related po doon sa kanilang mga study, we can talk, and kung may gusto po mag-continue na kanilang mga topics, we can also ask them, okay, for our respected participants. So, again, if Miss Alagon is not here, maybe we could now move on for our next presenter, and this will be coming from the other specialization or our business sector. So can we call on now proceed to our next specialization? These are the presentation of the selected research papers in the discipline of human resources management, general management, and linguistics. Here are our presenters. Clarissa Bautista of Polytechnic University of the Philippines. JB Goballo, Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Rowena Cardenas, Polytechnic University of the Philippines. Rock Brian Matias, Polytechnic University of the Philippines, and Ascendas Asia Group, and Teofilo Damaco, Union Christian College. Now let's start. If Miss Clarissa Bautista is here, Ma'am Clarissa? So let's start with her presentation about employee engagement of Asian Institute of Management. So let's give her a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Clarissa Bautista, a graduate of PUP Graduate School Batch 2017 and currently connected with Asian Institute of Management as Talent Management Coordinator. So my topic for today is employee engagement at Asian Institute of Management. Employees are said to be the true assets of an organization. So even the best of technology or infrastructure would not be much of use if employees do not perform up to the mark and are not satisfied with their current profiles. So the first and the foremost responsibility of an organization is towards its employees to ensure that they are happy and satisfied with their jobs. Employee engagement is a workplace approach resulting in the right conditions for all members of an organization to give of their best each day, committed to their organization's goals and values, motivated to contribute to organizational success with an enhanced sense of their own well-being. It is about understanding one's role in an organization and being excited and energized on where it fits in the organization's purpose and objectives. So engagement is both a cause and effect. It involves the relationship between the organization and the employee. It builds on several more familiar workplace concepts such as employee commitment, job satisfaction, and organizational citizenship. However, engagement goes beyond this since it connects these positives with improving business outcomes and performance. So to succeed in today's more knowledge or service-based economy, it is not enough to have just flexible business models or structures and processes. So above all, it is engaged employees who are aligned with the organizational goals, willing to go to the extra mile, act as an advocates of the organization, are most critical to the business success. So just like any organization, as Asian Institute of Management faces several challenges, employee engagements become critical for the management. Founded in 1968 by a consortium of prominent business leaders, Philippine Academic Institution, and the Harvard Business School, AIM has been the Asia's pioneer management school for 50 years. True to their mission, AIM pledges to nurture and sustain a culture that rewards professionalism, creativity, and excellence. And to fully support our mission, which is to develop managers, entrepreneurs, and leaders who deliver meaningful and sustainable growth to Asian businesses and societies. The core of this research is to centered on measuring employee engagement and look at the areas where management interventions can be implemented to increase the overall level of it. Alliance for Innovation and Operational Excellence framework, empowerment, enablement, and connection are the three building blocks of engagement. Each of these elements is further comprised of attributes which can be tracked along an employee engagement journey from traditional to beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. So the study was anchored on these characteristics which serve as the basis of the researcher in providing and solving problems stated in this study. So to determine the level of employee engagement in Asian Institute of Management, we decided to go for the most practical and yield the best results for the primary research. So the scripted method is utilized as a research strategy, emphasizing words and inductive approach to the relationship between theory and research, where importance is placed on the generation of theories. The descriptive research design was also used in the discussion of findings, which helped the researcher to thoroughly discuss, analyze, and present the gathered data. The method of frequency and percentage distribution, ranking, and weighted mean were used to analyze and interpret the data gathered. So the participants were 83 respondents from Asian Institute of Management, again located at Makati City. The researcher used a self-made questionnaire of two parts. Part 1 sought the profile of the respondents, such as age, gender, status, designation or level, and number of years in the organization. Part 2 determined the evaluation of the employee engagement in terms of empowerment, enablement, and connection. Each question allowed the respondents to discuss their feelings toward their work-life status and current level of engagement to the institute. Likert scale was used to measure the respondents' answers. So for the results, we will start with the profiling first. So based on age, most respondents are mostly millennial, aged 20 to 29 years old, while predominantly the institute is comprised of female workers. Majority receive an average monthly salary of 17,000, 1 peso to 25,000. While in terms of annual trainings or seminars attended, most of the respondents have an average number of training of 0 to 3 per year. Respondents mostly are connected with the Institute for 3 to 5 years and more than 15 years. In terms of results, for the three factors that we try to measure, which are empowerment, enablement, connection. So again, empowerment talks about more of the desire, the authority, and the organization, while enablement talks about skills and resources, and connection is your fit and your communication within the organization. So we just got the three highest and the three lowest per category. So for empowerment, the results are for the highest, I am accountable to my work. I always put the best effort in all tasks, projects, and assignments that I do, and share my knowledge, skills, and expertise to others who are in need. While the lowest, staff members felt that the work that they do and my personal interests are not aligned, or their personal values are not aligned with the values of AIM. Same as their interests are well understood and supported by AIM. So the opposite of it will be, of course, the negative. So it's the lowest. These are just the results in terms of, or including the weighted mean, but overall conclusion for the respondents' evaluation in terms of empowerment is agree with a grand mean of 4.27. Well, for enablement, again, these are the skills and the resources training. The three highest in terms of the survey results. I have the knowledge and skills for me to become successful in my job. I am aware of my developmental and training needs, and I am equipped to do my job. While the lowest are, AIM has processes that are oriented towards efficiency of my work output. I receive career planning discussions with my supervisors. The amount of degree of my work and role is well commensurate by the pay of my job. So once again, these are the results with the weighted mean, and similar to the first one, the respondent's evaluation in terms of enablement is agree with a grand mean of 3.79. And the last one, connection, the highest are I have people in AIM whom I can call friends, friendly relations with my teammates, and establish good working relationship with my teammates, which is almost similar. And then the lowest are my supervisors call for regular meetings that are significant in fostering open communication. I feel that I can freely and professionally express my suggestions, ideas, and comments with comfort and ease. And I feel that the management has established an atmosphere of open communication among all members. Similar to the first two, the respondents' evaluation in terms of connection is agree with a Gani 4.03. But of course, looking at those highest and lowest, we can come up with results or discussions. In terms of empowerment, I believe that AIM initiative should build and maintain alignment, starting from personal, team, and organizational alignment. Because we can recall that the lowest points for empowerment are mostly the connections of their personal values towards the values, mission, and vision of the organization. So under enablement, AIM must continue to adopt and improve process approach to achieve desired results. So maintaining corporate growth in the business while also reinforcing a strong company culture anchored in quality should be one of the focuses of AIM. Also, improving career development and talent planning is another recommendation we can draw from the conclusion. So one-on-one career coaching and performance monitoring should be executed as some of the results as the lowest in terms of enablement are the one-on-one career sessions or meetings with their immediate supervisor. Also, AIM should examine conduct review of overall salary structure as it shows on the results that the amount of work, effort, time that they put in the job is not well commensurate by the time or by the salary or package that they are receiving. So in terms of connection, top management in the institute needs to ensure that the communication channels are fully open to all employees and that they understand and believe the information that is being disseminated from top management. Managers should conduct weekly communications update meeting to cover downward communication and to deal with queries from employees as the content or impact any downward communication will have on their role. Organizations should support and allow opportunities to continue building quality relationships with their colleagues. Even events such as company picnics, employee appreciation, and holiday parties are a few samples. Through these, coworkers become friendly and look forward to spending time with one another while they still do their jobs. And of course, for future researchers, it is recommendable that the further study may be conducted on using other variables that were not included in the research. As mentioned, overall, the respondents assessed the level of agreement of employee engagement of Asian Institute of Management in terms of empowerment, enablement, and connection was evaluated as a grade. But having this um, employee engagement survey as the first conducted survey in AIM, this will be a good benchmarking um, standard for the rest of the surveys or job satisfactions and other employee engagement surveys that will be conducted in the institute. So this is just to measure again the current level. So we don't have any comparison yet from previous studies or previous years in AIM. So again, this will be a data standard that will be used for future researchers as well.
Thank you so much for listening. Good morning.
Good morning po, Miss Larissa. We encourage you to open your camera. Good morning
Yes,
po.
hi, good morning.
Hi, Miss Larissa. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Where are you from po?
I'm currently in Makati City. Or
Makati. So you're connected with AIM.
yes, I'm currently working as a talent management coordinator at
Oh,
AIM.
nice. Hi, Miss Clarissa. So, what a very interesting topic actually as HR practitioner as well. So, I'm really convinced with the story of your study. So, let's now call on and open the floor for a question. But I have my first question na po for you. So, well, since employee engagement is cited as one of the most common problem facing by employers today. Yet most companies don't know how to motivate employees, right? With our current situation, how does HR practitioners or even the line managers create programs for their employees?
Actually, the topic, yes, is very parang, how do you call it? A concern right now because as mentioned again, employee engagement is very important, but now it's pandemic, so most of the standard and processes before that we're not used to are being applied now. So I think let me know if I got your question or correctly. Then parang aside from all other factors, actually work, pay, benefits or such, even kahit sa work, I think the most important right now is the communication or the
Yeah.
connection. So
Mhm.
HR practitioner, line managers, and even the whole leadership team should emphasize on listening to their staff members' concerns, specifically right now with the pandemic. Because there
Right.
will be a lot of, again, other factors na yun, parang even their family, relatives mo naapektuhan ng pandemic. So, siguro yon listen, communicate, and be very flexible and support their needs. So if it's applicable to your industry to do like again flexible work hours, again working from home, not exactly parang pwede maging output based this time because again there will be lots of parang na compromise. Siguro ganun yung mga pwedeng advices or recommendations for managers or for HR practitioners.
Wow, thank you for that recommendation, Miss Larissa. One more thing, I was also confused since right now I assume that your faculty members are doing online classes as well, right? So
Perfect.
how do you do programs and engage with them, particularly for right now since we would like to also maintain and monitor their mental health, right? So that's part also of programs that we can do for HR for employee engagement. What do you do as your best practices in AMI?
That's correct. So all classes right now are online. So basically parang naging normal classes naman siya. It's just that again, it will all be via Zoom. And then good thing that you mentioned also mental health programs. So we offered or parang initiate AIM cares. So we strengthen also the how do you call it? Parang championing the initiatives from our because our guidance counselor is under the registrar. So there are mental health sessions like meditations, ganyan. Meron pa rin mga workout activities online, just to give like parang breaks during their classes. And one-on-one counseling sessions are offered to the whole staff and also to the students as well.
Madami po ba right now? I mean, particularly doon sa inyo mga faculty members are participative with the programs because since the problem right now with virtual, 'di ba? Yung participation you cannot enforce them. Especially face self-facing lahat. And most probably siguro I'm not sure kasi I'm sure sa students na-encounter nyo internet connections kapag medyo feeling nila tinatamad ako, I don't feel the day. So, they will excuse their internet connection. How about for the employees, lalo na sa mga faculty members and non-faculty members?
Siguro ano pa rin, parang actually parang compared pa rin dati, there are really some, of course, that there will be resistant or parang receptive to this initiative. So siguro constant communication on parang telling them why are we doing this, parang bakit may mga ganitong add-on, kasi parang there are some na you have to of course submit work from home reports, ganyan, bakit may mga ganitong pakulo this time is of course parang again we're all trying our best. This is parang all first time for all of us na nagkaroon ng pandemic. So again, there are some, but then hopefully magiging interested din sila kasi ngayon nga everything will be online. Even Christmas parties, I guess.
Yes.
So parang at least kahit yon parang, it's something that's gonna be parang first for all of us. So hopefully it excites them as well.
Right. Thank you, Miss Luisa. I think Dr. Aki Matias has also a question for you. Doc Aki.
Good morning, Miss Clarissa. So I have actually two questions. The number one question is about the technicality of your research. I don't actually capture the statistical treatment you have mentioned in terms of your study. So I'd like to know lang if what are the statistical treatment have you used in your study?
Actually, we how do you call it? Aside from getting the mean, we also try to get the significant relation in terms of all profile. In terms of the three factors that I mentioned as well. So I wasn't able to parang how do you call it? Discuss the other statistical data such as again getting the mean, the t-test and ANOVA. But I also have like the for example the results that in terms of empowerment in terms of connection, there is a significant difference pagdating sa gender of the staff member, something like that.
All right. So thank you very much for bringing that out. So my second, have you tried to present this paper to AIM management or with your head of the department?
Actually not an actual presentation, but during the time that I asked their permission to conduct this survey, that's they permitted it because they are again planning to use this as a baseline. So all the data is still with leadership, and we're planning to conduct the standard engagement survey. Dapat parang this year siya, pero again because of the pandemic, medyo na-halt. And sometimes, of course, when you run a survey, I'm not sure if this is correct then there are factors then. So definitely if you run this survey this specific time, parang there will be a big difference. But it's also a good factor in while pandemic, right after pandemic, if what's the current status compared to the last one that we just conducted.
When you presented your study to AIM, or you have already given them the result, what are the employee engagement programs or strategies have you already established because of this study?
Sure, siguro the one that...
So what employee engagement program?
Okay. So I think
Yes.
first two that I can parang share or I can easily remember is with regards to the alignment of your personal values or your vision or mission to the organizational goals. It was evident din yung answers nila because during the time where we conducted the survey, um, parang yung vision and mission was not, how do you call it, parang instilled and parang nagkakaroon ng rebranding yung AIM that time. So it was addressed by revisiting the vision, mission, values of AIM and values orientation were conducted to all staff members. And the second one is when about the empowerment when we had the low results in terms of package and salary. We are now doing a salary review structure together with Mercer. So nag-job evaluation na. So hopefully it will all be how do you call it? At least address or was able to parang better yung mga results na medyo need ng opportunities or improvement.
All right. So thank you so much, Miss Clarissa, for answering my question. It is actually good to know that they are aligning their vision and mission as well as other programs in terms of employee engagement based on your study. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ms. Clarissa Bautista, again for your presentation. Very relevant and timely. Thank you. So we would like again to call on Ms. Cecilia Alagon. Are you still with us, or are you still with now connected with our conference? Okay, Ms. Cecilia Aragon, is that so? Again, let me encourage everyone to participate, particularly po dun sa mga topics na medyo interesting po at aligned to your specialization. We encourage an interactive participation, lalo-lalo po sa ating mga presenters. Thank you po. Again, thank you, Doc Aki. So we would like to proceed, before we move on to our presentation, let's have a rebreather and refresh ourselves. So we'll have a 1 hour session break. So everyone, please return back to our session at exactly 1 p.m. So I hope you enjoy your lunch. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again later. Thank you po.